Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another tropical update here by Agent Weather Forecast. This will be another update here on the tropics, including the Eastern Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico. Here, there in the Atlantic, we have possibilities for upcoming systems in the coming days. Not only that, Tropical Storm Amanda has now made landfall, and of course, it is now the first named system of the Pacific Hurricane 2020 season and has made landfall for parts of Central America. And also, a huge possibility is Amanda could possibly go through Central America and Mexico and possibly respawn in the Gulf of Mexico and become a new Atlantic system. So we have major updates here, and we're talking about all of this, all the major updates, including the vorticity, the winds, the tracks, strength of these systems, and all of that. If you are new to the channel, though, please subscribe, of course. Also, please share the video to any friends or family that you know will love my daily weather forecast, or that you know will possibly maybe be impacted a lot by this hurricane season. But without further ado, let's get into this tropical update. So let's go ahead and check out the Eastern Pacific here in the 5-day tropical weather outlook. And here we had Tropical Storm Amanda. Yesterday it was Tropical Depression 2E, and that is Tropical Storm Amanda, and has made landfall in parts of Central America there in Guatemala, and is also impacting parts of El Salvador. So we actually have it at 40 miles per hour. So it just reached tropical storm force winds, and it is moving at northeast at 8 knots or 90 miles per hour. So it's going to be heading into Mexico very soon by the end of today, likely. And it's at 1,003 millibars, so it has strengthened a good bit. But this is what we're looking at here. But before we actually move on, let's go and check this out here in the Atlantic. We have a new tropical disturbance that has a broad chance, or a broad disturbance here of disturbed weather, likely in the Bay of Campeche. I want to say the Gulf of Mexico, but Bay of Campeche there. And as you see, this could possibly and very well be from Amanda. So Amanda could weaken as it moves inland and possibly become a disturbance in the Bay of Campeche in the far western Gulf of Mexico. It has a 50% chance for development in the next 5 days. In the next 2 days, has a 40% chance. So it has a medium probability. Could very well have the remnant of Amanda respawn and become a new system with a very favorable condition in the Gulf of Mexico here. So as you see, this is our system right here at right here at 50% chance, and this is the exact same thing. So this is the X is exactly where Amanda is. As you see, this is in the exact same spot as Amanda is. See, Amanda's right there off the coast of Guatemala, and there is the X spot there. So this could very well be Amanda becoming a system. So it will be a system in the Pacific and in the Atlantic. This is not the first time this actually happened. So this could maybe, if this does become a name from the Atlantic, that'd be incredible if this same system was named for the Pacific and for the Atlantic. But let's go and check out the Eastern Pacific once again here with Amanda. Let's go ahead and check out these where we have the system right now. So the new 10 a.m. update here, not too far from now, or basically an hour ago, we have tropical storm force winds still inland of Guatemala, and we have tropical storm force winds all the way from the Guatemala coast all the way to the El Salvador coast. So we are going to be seeing some really powerful, strong, gusty winds, very widespread. And as you see, where we have this track for Amanda, this is going to be going straight into the Bay of Campeche, which is exactly where we have that X right here. It's exactly where, this is where the X is, and this is exactly where we have our potential 50% chance of development within the next 5 days. And you see, it could become a post-tropical depression extremely soon. So this thing's going to be weakening quite fast at this point, or at this extent. So we do have these tropical storm force winds all the way from basically the border of the Mexico coast. Even the Mexico coast has it there. And not even far from Honduras, we also have these tropical storm force winds here as we look at the arrival times by really tomorrow at 8 a.m. It's basically not a little less than 12 hours from now. This thing will be nearing the Bay of Campeche. So this thing's going to be a very fast moving system. So definitely extremely fast system, as it will possibly by the end of today move at very fast pace. Let's go check out the satellite imagery here for tropical storm Amanda. And let me just say, this is very organized, this system. This is actually one of the most organized really tropical, weak tropical storms in the Pacific, the Eastern Pacific I've seen are really very, very organized. Even when it was an invest, it looked like a post-tropical storm. So this is extremely, extremely organized right now. As you see, we are seeing very dense cloud cover for parts of El Salvador and parts of Nicaragua, but we are going to be seeing some some weakening of the system as you continue to go inland. As you see, this thing's going to gradually weaken and fall apart and become post-tropical depression by the next update here. But as you see, this thing was very organized, and it's going to continue to move into the northeast and moving up through parts of Central America. Let's go check out the visible satellite imagery. This actually works here. Yeah, as you see here, as we get this thing's very, very organized at this point. You can see how this really does kind of look like a very, very organized tropical system. As you see there, you see the outer bands moving clockwise, and then here you have the low pressure system, most likely around right here. So this thing's very, very organized. It's going to be overall, this thing was very, very organized at this point. Let's go and check out the model tracks here. And as you see here, you have it in south central Guatemala, and it's going to continue to possibly move to the north. It's going to be taking a northwestern turn there, or general western turn. And as you see, it's going to be almost 80% or more of the models do show it arriving in the Bay of Campeche on the coast of parts of southern Mexico, but most of the other models show it once it arriving to the Bay of Campeche going more into the Gulf. So this is also going to be really showing that possibility for a tropical disturbance here in the Bay of Campeche right here. So Manda's going to be post-tropical very soon, so it's really won't be really necessarily a tropical system really. So it's going to be heading the next 24 hours to 48 hours. Really, this thing will be in the Bay of Campeche for the next 48 to 72 hours. So it would not rule out the possibility of seeing a huge increase in the probability with the National Hurricane Center, but could definitely see if this thing does go out into the Gulf of Mexico. Who knows if this thing can possibly be named for the Atlantic, maybe Cristobal. If it does become Cristobal, the thing will break the record for the earliest sea in the Atlantic ever. So it has to be formed before June 5th, and tomorrow is the first day or the mark of official hurricane season start for the Atlantic. As you now look at the intensity guidance, as you see, this is going to help and see if this thing could actually possibly become a named storm for the Atlantic. So as you see, almost all of the models do show it now weakening to post-tropical within the next couple hours here. Only like 3 or 2 show it actually strengthening, which really, in my opinion, or in common sense, really won't happen. So I think it become post-tropical very soon. But as you see, most models do show this becoming post-tropical until the 48-hour or 72-hour mark. You know why? That's because it's gonna be in the Gulf of Mexico. So this is basically still, even though it won't be Amanda in the Atlantic, this is still showing exactly the strength of it. So this could very well become a very strong tropical storm, or who knows, maybe even our first hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season, and possibly maybe affect the Gulf Coast or the Gulf, maybe even the United States. Who knows? Because as you see, weekends, this is going to be marking the tropical storm force winds here. This is marking it. As you see, most models show tropical, post-tropical, and then strengthening back to tropical storm in the time frame of when this could be in the Gulf, and maybe even get to a category 1. So this is very interesting. Everything seems to play out, and we just need to see exactly what the models show and all of that. So who knows? This could be a very big wild card, a very big long track system from kind of becoming an invest here to now going possibly this way, and then who knows where it can go. Who knows if it'll maybe fall apart. No one really exactly knows 100% sure. As you know, look at the 6 hours here, it is bringing the flooding range for parts of Central America out there in Mexico. And as you see, the system will be the next 36 hours in the Bay of Campeche right here. This is where the system is right there. Very disturbed area of thunderstorms and scattered rain showers in the Bay of Campeche. And as you see, we do have to define the low pressure system, the Bay of Campeche, in the next 6 hours. So this could very well become a system. Who knows? Really, all the models are showing it happening. And then really after that, after it kind of forms, we still have this low pressure system at 102 hours. And we don't really have anything really after that. We don't really see anything happening at that point. We don't know where it goes. Once we see that low pressure system form, we have no idea where it goes. CMC model, let's go and check the CMC. So CMC is showing a whole different story. So here you have it in the Bay of Campeche in the next 42 hours. Right here, you're going to be seeing that disturbed weather for the parts of the Bay of Campeche or Western Caribbean or Western Gulf. And here you see it becoming a very well-defined low pressure system and going out into the Gulf. This is what I expect to happen. So this could very well become crystal ball, whether it's a tropical storm or a hurricane. In the next 114 hours, it's going to be at 995 millibars, and it's going to strengthen a ton, 997, and could very well make landfall in Louisiana. So this is crazy track for Amanda and possibly even Cristobal. This thing could be the first named storm for the Pacific, and then within hours or within a couple of days become the third named storm for the Atlantic, which is absolutely crazy to think about. One system becoming a named storm for both oceans. It happened before. It's not too rare, but it doesn't happen too often. It's not an every year thing, really. So here we have it. This is going to be a really long track system. It's going to be going like this, and then possibly going like this, and then go like this. This is going to be a very weird track, and it's a very long track system, as very well lived, long lived, and can possibly make landfall in the U.S. And you know what's crazy? All of the storms, really, this will be, if this does make a landfall in the United States and does not make a landfall in any other country or any other land area in the Atlantic. I know it made landfall in the Central America, but as a Pacific named storm. But if it does only make landfall in the United States, whether it's Florida or Texas or Alabama, this will be the third named storm, and it will be the second U.S. landfall. All three named storms of the Atlantic hurricane season so far have either skinned the U.S. coast or made landfall. First we had Arthur, skinned the Outer Banks. Then we had Bertha, made landfall in South Carolina. Now this could very well possibly make landfall in the United States. We've almost, or if this has happened, we can already have 2 U.S. landfalls, whether it's tropical storm or hurricane, before June 5th, which is crazy to say. Means we have months left. Who knows how many more other hurricane landfalls or U.S. landfall we have. So we have, let's go and check out the winds. Here we have, of course, these winds out here in Central America. Let's go ahead and check out as it is in the Bay of Campeche. Could possibly see around 30 knots at this point. With the winds, though, we don't really have any winds indicating there. But let's check out the CMC. I actually had to agree with the CMC this one. So here we had the disturbed low pressure right there. Disturbed weather. Thunderstorms could very well become an invest at this point, or tropical depression. And as you see, by Wednesday, June 3rd, we can have this thing, June 4th, we can have this thing at 1,000 millibars. So this could very well become a tropical storm just before the June 5th timeline. And then look at this. This is not the 850 HPA winds. This is 10 meter winds. So this is like real time winds 10 meters off the coast, or off the land or anything like that. So as you see, up to around 43 knots, 44 knots at this point there at 995 millibars. And then look at this, makes landfall on Louisiana. So that's what CMC is showing. Let's go ahead and check out the vorticity here. And we have the vorticity signature in the GFS, and then we see that disturbed low vorticity, but not not really a huge vorticity signature on the GFS. But CMC shows complete opposite. We have a huge vorticity signature as this thing does strengthen. Look at this Gulf Coast, or the Gulf of Mexico has warmed a lot, and I mean a lot, since May, or since the beginning of May. So this thing will strengthen a ton if it does go throughout all the Gulf Coast or the Gulf of Mexico. And not only that, it's going to be right here. It's going to have all this time to go like this. It's going to be going like this, and then it's going to go take a turn. So this means it's going to be in the ocean a lot of time. And this thing can, of course, possibly make landfall in parts of Louisiana. As you now look at the models of the presentation of the GFS, really, as you see, all the way June 4th, June 5th, we kind of have a precipitation, a huge precipitation number right here, but really not indicating anything on the radar. But precipitation, seeing a ton of precipitation for the Bay of Campeche, which indicating that thing can very well become a system there. CMC, or let's say CMC. Look at this. CMC is showing all of this right here. This is showing a very well track. This thing could possibly bring up to 2 feet of rain out there for part of Mexico. It could bring in feet of rain as well for the Gulf. And you see this thing could very well bring in a lot of rain for Louisiana. Let's go check out the conditions, really, if this thing could happen. So obviously this thing really won't form like in the next day or so. This thing will take a couple days to actually, it will be in the Bay of Campeche by the next really 30 hours, 48 hours at most, or 72 hours at most, but also has to take time to get all that energy. So this thing may form in the next 5 days. So obviously this Gulf of Mexico has 5 days to warm up. And you see, look at how warm these SSTs are in the East Central Pacific, and we had this thing strengthened extremely fast. So if we actually have a little bit warmer temperatures out here in the Gulf Coast, this thing could very well strengthen extremely fast. We already have warm temperatures, warm or above average SSTs are ready for parts of the Bay of Campeche and the central or the southern Gulf of Mexico, which is where this thing could very well form. But we have kind of cooler temperatures or average temperatures out there in the central Gulf. But if we look at the real time temperatures, this thing is still very warm. It's 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know exactly how warm that really is in real words. Not real words in Fahrenheit. I believe that's like hot. That's like mid 80s, high 80s, which is still very warm. Up to 30 degrees Celsius for parts of the Bay of Campeche, and widespread across this whole track up to 27 to 29 degrees Celsius. So as you see, very favorable conditions for the system. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and bye guys.